Hello everyone, Evan from MonkeyDM here. In today's video I'll be reviewing the rest of the Mattew Mercer subclasses, which I forgot in my previous video. That was totally voluntary and not an accident at all. So, in this video we'll be reviewing the Path of the Juggernaut Barbarian, the College of the Maestro Bard, and the Blood Domain Cleric, with a little extra bonus at the end, which I'm sure you'll like. Keep in mind, Blood Hunter will get a review of its own because it's a full class and I want to make a fully dedicated video to it. So now, without losing time, let's get cracking. First of all, Blood for the Blood God! The Blood Domain Cleric. So, without much of a surprise here, you get proficiency with martial weapons, and now when you cast damaging spells, you can deal extra damage to your enemies. You know, get the blood flowing. In addition, you get a fairly thematic spell list with the inclusion of the haste spell, which I love because I get this idea of someone's heart starting to beat so freaking fast that their blood is rushing everywhere, giving them this adrenaline shot, and then all of a sudden it stops and exhausted. That's really thematic for that cleric. It's similar to when you get an adrenaline rush while trying to do the workout that a commoner could do in D&D, for example. After that, you get a Channel Divinity, which allows you to take control of a creature against their will, move them and make them attack someone. Now, I love this because you can go in a court, target a noble, force them to attack the king, and then watch all the guards just rain hell upon that poor dude. You can then use the blood of a creature to try and sense them. You do need 2 ounces of their blood to do so. While the flavor is very cool, I have no idea how you're gonna procure 2 ounces of a creature's blood. This is 2 ounces. Let's see how long this takes to fill up. Well, here we go. So, that took me about 30 seconds to fill up. Sanatate. After that, once per long rest, you can sacrifice your blood to the blood gods in order to recuperate an amount of spell slots. This is really neat because there's never enough spell slots, is there? And finally, last ability, you emanate an aura which causes damage to your enemies and prevents them from healing properly. Negating healing can be quite useful, although personally I don't use enemies that heal all that often, because kinda similar to Pokemon, when you as the player drink 20 hyper potions to heal your Pokemon, that's fine, but if the enemy drinks more than 1, it's the apocalypse. So, what do I think of the subclass as a whole? What ranking does it get? It's a bit complicated. In the right campaign, it's a B tier. In an Eberron setting, it's probably like E tier, maybe D. What do I mean by that? Well, all of the subclasses' ability are reliant on blood. So if you're in a campaign where enemies don't have blood, for example, I love to throw aberrations and constructs at my players, there's not gonna be much use for that subclass. So it's highly campaign setting specific. But if it's in a campaign where a lot of enemies have blood, it makes sense to use it. But even then, for example, undeads. Some of them you could argue they have coagulated blood in them, but some of them they've been dead for so long there's no more blood there. So, depends. If you want to see all the other subclasses that Mattew Mercer created and my review of them, then you can click this video right here to view them. Next up, College of the Maestro Bard. Because who doesn't want to lead a classical music band? So let's review it real quick. First ability, you get additional Bardic Inspirations, which is absolutely amazing because Bardic Inspiration is just great. On top of that, at 3rd level, you also get 2 conducting abilities, which are cool Maestro flavor abilities which allow you to control the battlefield, the enemies or your friends, to get an advantage in the battle. So they can make you more alert to traps, deal thunder damage, allow you to terrify your enemies. Side note about this one, it requires an ally to kill a creature, and then that ally can terrify the creatures around him. Fun fact, because the creature that needs to be killed doesn't have a CR, you could very well have a wizard gnome just walk up with a grasshopper in its hand in front of an ancient red dragon, crush the grasshopper, and because of that display of strength, the red dragon is now terrified. It's just kind of funny to me. You can also use it to lower saving throw, push creatures, regain more health, increase your speed, get temporary HP, or improve weapon damage. This is quite a mixed bag. Some of them are great, like lowering a saving throw. Some of the others, not so much. You can then grant your body cure inspiration to all your allies at once, which is super neat. Really that Maestro that directs the whole band. And finally, as an action, you can create a melody that gives disadvantage on saves against charm and sleep for 10 minutes. But you need to use your action every turn to keep it going. That ability is... it's not that great. It's good in social situations, for example, if you want to lay charms on important NPCs, but in combat it's really not that great because you sacrifice your whole action to potentially give a fail save. Not that best. I know in like some dominate monster type of situation it could be good, but that's just overall it's a mixed bag. But what ranking does this subclass get? Well, apart from the last ability, which meh, the rest of the abilities are super solid. So this subclass gets an A tier. It's extremely good, and especially at lower levels, it's deadly. Finally, after being all melodic, let's get a little more metal with the Path of the Juggernaut. I love Barbarian, they're super sturdy, and this takes them even further. You're not only sturdy, you're a mountain, you're unshakable, unbreakable. So let's see what the abilities are. First, when you're raging, you hit so hard that you push enemies back with each of your blows and can step forward to follow them. On top of that, while you're raging, you cannot be knocked prone. Some subclasses, get resistance to all damage while they're raging, but you can get knocked prone, so I guess that's okay. After that, you deal double damage against structures and an extra 1d8 damage against constructs, which makes you the worst enemy of Bob the Builder. At 10th level, when you swing your weapon, if there's another creature within 5 feet, you can swing against them as a bonus action. I almost knocked over my mic. More attacks, more better. And finally, at 14th level, when you are raging, you are immune to being stunned, paralyzed, and frightened. Which is really useful. Especially considering that the next level, you have the persistent rage, meaning that your rage never ends. So you're always immune to these conditions. So, how does this Barbarian do? Well, not that great. The only very good ability is the last one you get at 14th level, and most of the time campaigns don't go up to those high levels. So this subclass gets a D tier from me. Love the flavor, but the abilities are just meh. Finally, the little bonus I promised, the Totem of the Duck Barbarian. Take it away, Matt.
Oh no.
Thank you. So my main camera just died, which means I'm now recording on my phone. Apparently the gods did not want everybody to get access to that information. First you get 2 ritual spells in the form of Beast Sense and the other one being Speak with Animals. Speak with Animals can come in handy sometimes. Beast Sense is rarely ever useful. Then you can duck. See what I did there? No, actually you can literally duck to avoid attacks, which gives disadvantage on an attack targeting you as a reaction. It can be sometimes useful. I mean, the Bear Totem Barbarian gets resistance to all damage, the Wolf Totem gets more attacks, but you can duck. After that you get a swimming speed and resistance to acid damage, which is a fairly rare damage type. You can then cast Commune with Nature as a ritual spell, in which case a spiritual duck will appear in front of you to give you guidance. Hilarious 100% of the time, useful some of the times. Finally, you can flail and honk instead of doing an attack to terrify your enemies. I don't know what Matt was thinking. So what ranking does this subclass get? Well, it gets a D tier. It's a bad subclass. It's really not that great. But it is extremely funny. So if you want to play a one-shot with this Barbarian as your subclass, I highly encourage you to do so. But power-wise, yeah, probably not that best. Anyway, that was all. That was Evan from MonkeyDM. Recorded from my phone. If you enjoyed the video so far, make sure to subscribe. If you're already subscribed, I love you. This is a big dice and it's going in your face. Fuck me.